So how much do you know about this Swiss bank account shit? Like what details?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
To be honest with you, no.
Because I was talking to Levi about it. Levi's trying to fucking move over there. But
Well,
he has a lot of shit going on in crypto though.
Yeah. Well, and I think okay, which brings up another good point. Like I think a lot of people in the crypto community, they don't really even worry about taxes with their crypto, which just because I know what the IRS is actually doing
and trying to do,
they
actively.
will just get shot in the foot. Absolutely annihilated because I don't understand the blockchain nearly as well as I probably could. I understand it pretty well, but not nearly as well as I think I'd like to. But the whole purpose behind the blockchain is to have a history of knowing what's been done on the. So, using the blockchain, the IRS can go back and look at all. They can go honestly, if they get reportings, they can go back and look and see what's been done on the blockchain.
I've tried to think about it, right? Like, okay, so let's say we send it to a wallet. That wallet is only ever accessed through a certain VPN.
Yep.
Right, through somewhere else in some other country, no one even knows where it is. Then you could make it really hard to find it.
Right.
But at the same time, think about those people the other day who got caught trying to launder like $4 billion
in crypto.
of fucking Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Through gift cards though, bro, they were doing it.
No, but the wonky shit that goes on, it is so much more trackable than I think people realize it is. But I know there are places like Switzerland, who have 0% tax on crypto.
Yeah.
So for some of those people who that might be their only income.
And Puerto Rico. Is it Puerto Rico?
I don't know about Puerto Rico. I thought it was still like a flat 4 or 5% tax on crypto.
Oh, okay.
There are a few places like that are, if that's where your main source of income is, why not? And you're not tied down to any one thing or one place, and you can make that a primary residence. Might make sense,
Well, I mean, one thing that nobody really talks about, and we'll get into the real estate aspect of it, but I know a dude who makes $11 million a year and doesn't pay any money in taxes.
Mm-hmm.
But he owns a lot of real estate.
That's why.
Like Donald Trump, everybody, Trump didn't pay any taxes. Bro, the amount of assets that he owns that he can fucking place shit on, write off, depreciate over time. He'll never pay taxes.
Yeah. Well, and I think you look at Jeff Bezos is another one. You look at Facebook and Amazon in 2018 and 2019 had negative tax liabilities.
But then that shit's set up really weird.
To be honest with you, when you look down at the nuts and bolts, it really isn't that much different than like a mom and pop shop. The entity is different, but they're utilizing growth, they're utilizing buildings, they're utilizing real estate, they're utilizing jobs. People forget that the tax code is like 5,000 pages long. But there's really only maybe 100 pages that actually tells you how much tax you have to pay and when you have to pay it. Honestly, the other 4,900 plus pages of the tax code is a list of incentives that tell you exactly how not to pay taxes. The government wants you to create jobs. The government wants you to create affordable housing. The government wants you to create food. Agricultural, real estate, and business owners always pay the fewest amount of dollars in taxes. It's the middle class, the lower class who are working a W-2 job that gets stuck with the tax bill because they aren't creating jobs, they aren't creating affordable housing, and they aren't creating food.
And I mean, it's kind of just like the rough part of what to do. One of my friends has his employees, and so after they make 6 figures, he just 1099s them. He's like, you need to figure it out. Go buy other real estate because you will get hit.
Because it's costing him money on employment taxes, and
gets hit on employment taxes, and he's like, eventually,
health insurances. Yeah. Oh yeah, you get raped by the coals. Oh yeah, just absolutely raped.
And it's a win-win. He was like, at this point, it's a win for me, and it's a win for my employee.
Yeah.
Like the employee makes way more money. They can write off significantly more. None of the NFL players can save money on taxes unless they start businesses because they get hit. Yeah. Bro, they get slapped.
Yeah, I think in fact, I was looking into this too. You look at some of the salaries that these guys are making, and it might be like $3, $4, $5 million, but at that point, they're in a federal tax bracket at the highest tax rate of at least 33%, not including a state tax, which you look at guys here in California or New York who are 12, 15% state income tax. You're at a 50% tax rate, so that $3 million easily turns into 1.5, just like that.
Overnight. It's pretty wild.
Yep.
One of my friends paid way more in taxes than he ever should have. They don't even get CPAs though. He did his
You have
first
to
year of
find
taxes
your,
on fucking TurboTax.
yeah, you have to find your own. Yeah,
Like,
it's
come
kind
on,
of sad.
Like that's awful. Like he did his first year of taxes on TurboTax.
But it's what everyone else in America does. Like I think truly when it comes
Yeah, I
like
guess
when
so.
when it comes down to it, the real reason why I got into taxes, one, because I love to help people. Like I thought I was going to go medical professional when I first
Uh-huh.
kind of started out in college because I really want to help people. But two, the reason why I fell into taxes was just there's such a lack of education around taxes that I knew I could help people with their money. I knew I
Okay.
could help people understand taxes to a degree that is going to help them better their lives. That's when it came down to the nuts and bolts. That's really why I got into what I'm doing.
So talk to me about the heavy car rule. Is it going away after this year? Like if I buy a jet, I can't write it off next year?
If well, there are rollbacks with bonus depreciation that are set to happen after 2022, leading up to the expiration of the current tax law at the end of 2025. So it's not that you couldn't write it off, you just might not be able to write off to the extent that you have been able to over the past couple of years because of bonus depreciation. Depreciation has been around in our tax law for years and years and years, and it's something that will stick around for years and years and years to come because they want you to invest, they want you to pump money back into the economy, and they want to give you a benefit for doing it.
Mhm.
It just might not be an accelerated depreciation that you might be able to take.
Okay.
Right. And really, the only thing a weight does for your vehicle is increase the amount that you're able to depreciate in 1 year.
What's the weight limit to where we can fully depreciate the asset in the first year?
6,000.
6,000.
Yeah.
So like that's why everybody has the Tesla, the
Driving
G
the
wagon,
trucks, the
the
G
truck.
wagon. Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
And is it true that counts for boats too? Like if it is for business use?
If you're using it for business use,
So if I'm like, hey, I'm taking out my clients every week on my boat,
100%.
100%, just like
Yeah.
hey, wipe out some shit.
The business buys it. Yeah.
Wow.